A very good afternoon to our viewers and welcome to Eswatini TV. And this is Home Study. My name is Nogwazi Dlamini and always I am never alone. I'm with the gorgeous Lerato Mabilisa. Lerato, what a weekend. How are you doing this afternoon?
A very good afternoon to you, Nogwazi. A very good afternoon to the viewer. You are gorgeous as well.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I had a very fantastic weekend as well. So yeah. I'm fantastic.
I had an awesome weekend as well. Thank you for asking. No one ever asks about how I'm doing or how my weekend was.
Sorry for that day.
Anyway, we are back. It's another week back for more learning. So grade 7s, Form 3s and Form 5, sorry. We hope that you are ready for more learning. Lerato, please remind our viewers about today's timetable.
So I hope that you at home are ready for the jam-packed day today. Firstly, we have religious education, and the topic is Gomorrah and Sodom. Sorry for saying that. We have religious education, followed by religious education for Form 3 learners, followed by English language for Form 3 learners, followed by English language for Form 5 learners, and the last subject is Siswati for Form 5 learners. Should I repeat that?
Yes, please repeat that.
Okay. We have religious education for the grade 7 learners, followed by religious education for the Form 3 learners, followed by English language for Form 3 learners, followed by English language for Form 5 learners, and the last subject is Siswati for Form 5 learners.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Lerato. And just to remind our viewers that we are live on YouTube right now and on Facebook. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to use our WhatsApp number. Now, without wasting any more time, Lerato will be right back with the grade 7 religious education teacher, Winnie Dlamini. We'll be right back after this.
Kids, wash your hands so you can come in and have lunch.
Okay, Mom.
Tabo, apply some soap. You shouldn't just use water only.
But my hands aren't dirty, Nolwazi.
Just because your hands don't look dirty doesn't mean they're clean. We need to wash our hands regularly with soap and running water for at least 20 seconds, just like teacher taught us, so that all virus-causing germs and bacteria are washed away.
Tabo, listen to your sister, baby. It's important to always wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Like right now before we eat, after using the toilet, after touching animals, or after changing a nappy. We must also clean our surfaces and toilet seats with disinfectant.
Guys, it's time to wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands. Dirt and germs don't stand a chance. Germs, bye-bye. First the water, then the soap, and you scrub all your palms. Scrub your fingers till they're clean. Rinse and dry.
Guys, I'm home.
Welcome back, honey.
This is your 1 p.m. news update brought to you by Victor Silombo. In the news today, we'll speak a little bit more about COVID-19, a disease that's infectious and causing problems all over the world. COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by the coronavirus. The disease can spread from person to person through small droplets from the nose or mouth, which are spread when a person with COVID-19 coughs or exhales. These droplets land on objects and surfaces around the person, and other people then catch COVID-19 by touching these objects and surfaces, then touching their eyes, nose, or mouth. Here's a few simple precautions that you can follow to reduce your chances of being infected or spreading COVID-19. Regularly and thoroughly clean your hands with an alcohol-based hand rub or wash them with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose with your flexed elbow or use a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Then dispose of that used tissue immediately in a dustbin. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Maintain a social distance of at least 1 meter between yourself and everyone else. Drink copious amounts of water to make sure your body is hydrated. And remember, if you develop a fever, a cough, or have difficulty breathing, call 977. Stay safe, stay home.
Kids, I hope you are listening carefully. It's very important that we take these precautions very seriously so we all avoid catching or spreading COVID-19. So, we must stay home for our safety. Okay?
Yes, Dad.
A very good afternoon and welcome back. You are tuned in to Eswatini TV and this is your favorite tele-education program, Home Study. My name is Lirato Mavilisa and I am not alone as always. I am with the religious education teacher for grade 7 learners, Welile Dlamini. Also joining me in studio are our sign language interpreters, Tobile Fagutse and Linda Mamba. A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Lerato. How are you?
I'm all right today. Please tell the viewer about today's topic.
Today's topic is the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay, grade 7s, stay tuned because we're going to have a very interesting lesson right there. And as you heard, the topic is Sodom and Gomorrah. You may begin your lesson, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Lerato. The importance of this lesson is to instill moral values based on biblical teachings and help the learner to avoid sin and live according to God's commandment. Okay, dear learner, let us look at the lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, the learner must be able to state the causes of destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Number 2, the learner should be able to describe the events before, during, and after the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Number 3, the learner should be able to describe God's character, Abraham, Lot, Lot's wife, Lot's daughters, Lot's sons-in-law, and the men of Sodom. The next one, the learner should state the teaching and the lessons from the story of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, dear learner, before we continue, we're having new words or key words. Let us look at the key words. The first one is destruction. What is destruction? Destruction is to cause damage to something that so much that it cannot be repaired. The next word is homosexuality. Homosexuality is sexual attraction to persons of the same sex. And the next word is righteous. Righteous is being free from sin or guilt. And the next word is ruins. Ruin is the physical destruction of something. Okay, now, dear learner, let us look at the story, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Before we move to that, we remember that God had previously flooded the earth during Noah's time. It was as a punishment for people who disobeyed him. Let us look at the reasons why God destroyed the people during Noah's time. It is because the people were corrupt and violent. We had said that God flooded the earth. How long did it rain? It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. After the destruction, after God had destroyed these people, then he made a covenant to Noah. What was the covenant God made to Noah? God said he will never destroy the earth with water again, even if people were evil. Okay? What else? Then God made a sign. What was the sign of the covenant? It was a rainbow. Then we get lesson from the story of the flood. The lesson is that God protects his people. God hates and punishes sin. God stands by his word. Okay, dear Lena, our topic says the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Today we look at the events that led to the destruction of life in Sodom and Gomorrah. Why did God destroy or destructed life in Sodom and Gomorrah? There are reasons for that. According to the Bible, God destroyed the two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, which were neighboring cities, because men of Sodom were wicked. They were great sinners against God. If you can open your RSV Bible, dear Lena, you will find this verse in Genesis 13, chapter 13, verse 13. Also, the men of Sodom practiced homosexuality. When you read your Bibles, Genesis 19, verse 4 to 5, we're told that the men of Sodom, young and old, came to Lot and asked Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight?" They said, "Bring them out." They say, "Bring them out to us so we may know them." This emphasizes that they practiced homosexuality. That's why those are the reasons God destroyed the two cities. Let us look at the events before destruction. Before God destroyed the cities, God visited Abraham. He was with two angels. You can find that verse in Genesis 18, verse 1. God told Abraham that there was a great outcry against the cities and that their sin was great, so he will destroy the cities. You can find that verse in Genesis 18, verse 17 to 21. Abraham pleaded to God to save the righteous people. God promised Abraham that he will not destroy the righteous with the wicked. As I've said before, that God was with two angels. Then the two angels visited Lot and left Abraham behind. Left God with Abraham. Okay. Now, the men of Sodom went to Lot's house. They wanted to know the men. As I've said, that it was homosexuality. Those men were the two angels who had visited Lot's house. That is in Genesis 19, verse 4 to 8. Then Lot went outside. He pleaded with the men of Sodom not to harm the angels and offered his two virgin daughters to them instead. Genesis 19 verse 8. The two angels put forth their hands and brought Lot into the house and shut the door. When reading Genesis 19 verse 10, you find that verse. After that, they struck with blindness the men who were at the door of the house. Genesis 19 verse 11. Then the angels want Lot to take all his relatives out of Sodom. What happened, dear Lena? Okay, here I'm having an example of a picture. The men of Sodom and the two angels. The two angels struck the men of Sodom with blindness. As you can see in these pictures, these people, they cannot see even the door. Then the two angels were protecting Lot from the people. Now let us look during the destruction. What happened during the destruction when God destroyed the cities? The angels sent Lot and family out of Sodom and warned them not to look back. Let us look at this. Not to look back. The angels warned them not to look back. Then Lot moved out of Sodom. We're told that the sun has risen on the earth when Lot came to Zoar. It was his place of refuge. Then, after that, after Lot was outside Sodom, the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the valley and all inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. That is Genesis 19 verse 24 to 25. As they were fleeing, Lot's wife looked back at Sodom. Do you know what happened, dear Lena? She turned into a pillar of salt. That is Genesis 19 verse 26. Have a look at this example. Look at my picture. As you can see, here it's Lot and her two daughters. And here is Lot's wife. She had turned into a pillar of salt because she had looked back at Sodom. As we can see here, dear Lena, is the rain of fire and brimstone. God rained fire and brimstone on Sodom. Okay, after the destruction now, we said we are going to look the events after the destruction. Abraham, Genesis 19, verse 27 to 28. Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. And he looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the valley. All he saw was the smoke and the ruins of the two cities. Okay, let us look at this picture. It's no longer the same as the picture I've shown you when we started the lesson. Now, these are the ruins of Sodom and Gomorrah after destruction. Okay, let us look at the characters, dear Lena. I've said we're going to look at the character of God. We can say God is powerful, patient, and merciful. Abraham was righteous and merciful. I hope you are taking notes, dear Lena. Let us look at the character of Lot. Lot was righteous and obedient. Lot's wife was disobedient. Then let us look at Lot's daughters. They were obedient and respectful. The sons-in-law were rude and disobedient. And let us look at the men of Sodom. The men of Sodom were evil. They were wicked and sinful. Okay, dear Lena. Well, thank you.
Would you like to take a break?
Yes, we can.
Okay, ma'am. Viewers at home, can we take a quick informational break? And to those who are watching us online, we would like to say sorry for that glitch, but do not worry, at the end of it all will be fixed. Let's take a quick informational break.
Wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing the song. Wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
Hi viewers at home, my name is Professor Shabang. I am the presenter for your favorite health program, Better Health, Better Life. Thank you viewers at home for the calls and the messages, and thank you Eswatini TV for the great platform. Better Health, Better Life Season 4 is coming bigger and better. And now you have a chance to participate by sending a video of your view prior to the next program. On that note, we are appealing to all Eswatini, please stay at home, stop the spread so that we can save lives. Hi, my name is Professor Shabang. I am an actor and a TV presenter. Coronavirus is a deadly virus, an invincible enemy killing people all over the world. We are not exempted, but together we can walk through and overcome as a nation. All we need to do is to follow the health precautions. Stay at home, stop the spread, and save lives.
Welcome back, grade 7s. If you are in grade 7 and you've just tuned in, where have you been all this time? Anyways, you can catch us live on YouTube and Facebook from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And if you've missed any episodes, you can also watch them on our YouTube page. They are always there. Ma'am, we have a question for you, and the question from the viewer says, please repeat the characters.
Okay, dear Lena, thank you. Here are the characters, dear Lena. I've said God. God is powerful. God is powerful, patient, merciful. Abraham he was righteous and merciful. Lot was righteous and obedient. Lot's wife was disobedient. Lot's daughters were obedient and respectful. The sons-in-law were rude and disobedient. The men of Sodom were evil, wicked, and sinful. I think we have understood, dear learner. Let us move on to the teachings and lesson. The teaching we get from this story, the story of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, is God hates sin. God hates sin and punishes sinners. Then the lesson. God expects us to live according to His word. God saves those who obey and worship Him. The next one, we can say God saves those who live a righteous life. Also, we should follow God's instruction, unlike Lot's wife who was disobedient. Let's move on, dear learner. Now I've got an assessment for you. As you have been listening, now it's time to have an assessment. Number one, I've got questions for you. You can write the questions down. The first question, who want Lot to leave Sodom? It's 1 mark. Question number 2, why did God want to punish Sodom and Gomorrah? That is 2 marks. Question number 3, what happened to Lot's wife and why? It's 3 marks. Question number 4, do you blame Lot's wife? Do you blame Lot's wife for looking back at Sodom? Support your answer, showing that you have thought about different points of view. Question number 4, dear learner, it's an evaluation question. Do you blame Lot's wife for looking back at Sodom? You support your answer, showing that you have thought about different points of view. Okay, dear learner, let me quickly repeat the question. Question number 1, who want Lot to leave Sodom? Question number 2, why did God want to punish Sodom and Gomorrah? Number 3, what happened to Lot's wife and why? The last one, do you blame Lot's wife for looking back at Sodom? Support your answer, showing that you have thought about different points of view. In this question, you remember, dear learner, that you can use yes or no. Not can. You will use yes or no. It's a positive answer and a negative answer. I think we have written the answers to the questions, dear learner. Now let us look at the answers. Question number 1. Who want Lot to leave Sodom? The answer is the 2 angels. Question number 2. Why did God want to punish Sodom and Gomorrah? Our answer is that the men were wicked, evil, sinful, and practiced homosexuality. Number 3. What happened to Lot's wife and why? Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. Why? Because she looked back as they were fleeing. Let us look at question number 4, our evaluation question. Do you blame Lot's wife for looking back at Sodom? Support your answer, showing that you have thought about different points of view. I've got my answers here. It's what I think. One can say, yes, I blame Lot's wife. Why? Because the angels want the family not to look back. That's why I blame her. And one can say no. Why? Because she wanted to see what was happening to the people she lived with. No, because she wanted to see what was happening to the people she lived with. Okay, dear Lena, our conclusion to the lesson. In this lesson, we have learned that the people of Sodom and Gomorrah lived sinful and wicked lives. God listened to Abraham and saved the righteous people. God listened to Abraham and saved the righteous people. The next one, God hates and punishes sin. Thus he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with rain of fire and brimstone. Righteous people are expected to live according to God's word. Unfortunately, dear Lena, our lesson ends here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Vinile, and thank you very much to the viewer for watching. Up next is my colleague Nogwazi Dlamini, who is going to be presenting the next subject, which is religious education for Form 3 learners. So Form 3s, I hope you are ready for your lessons. Let's take a quick infomercial break.
Learn to cough and sneeze with your pal Grover. Step 1. Realize you are about to sneeze. Step 2. Move your elbow towards your nose and mouth. Step 3. Bless you. 1, 2, 3. Remember to cough and sneeze into your arm or elbow, not your hands.
In the Kingdom of Eswatini, we learn from home because of the COVID-19 pandemic. through social media platforms and television. The government provides us with subjects and teachers of grade 7, Form 3 and Form 5. Watch Home Study on channel 286 on DSTV or channel 02 on Ginger, or else watch live on Eswatini TV YouTube channel.
Why is hand washing with soap effective against COVID-19? The coronavirus is too small to see, but is covered with little spikes that stick tightly to the natural greases on your skin. It gets on your skin by someone with COVID-19 coughing or sneezing nearby you, or by you touching an unclean surface where the virus can stay active for up to several days. But washing hands thoroughly with soap for 20 seconds is highly effective against the virus. Soap loosens the grip of the virus on the skin and destroys the outer layer of the virus, pulling it apart. This means the virus loses its power to infect people. Washing your hands well with soap means you can destroy or remove the virus and wash it away before it has the chance to infect you or your family. By washing hands with soap and water, people protect themselves, their loved ones, family, and the community. By acting together, we can help stop the spread of coronavirus.
Wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing the song. Wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
Very good afternoon to our viewers and a warm welcome back if you have just joined. Actually, if you were with us, good afternoon if you have just joined us. My name is Nogwazi Dlamini and right now we are doing religious education for Form 3 with Nomfundo Dlamini, who is going to be doing the religious education lesson. Also joining us in the studio are our sign language interpreters, Tobile Fagotse and Linda Mamba. How are you doing today, Nomfundo?
Yes, I'm good, Nkosi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How was your weekend?
Oh, great.
It was great.
Yeah, it was.
Like I said before, no one ever asks how my weekend was. My weekend was fine. Thank you very much.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I'm used to it. I've gotten used to it. I understand we're doing crucifixion, death and burial today.
Yes.
What are you expecting your learner to have learned by the end of the lesson?
How Jesus Christ died on the cross and how he was buried.
Okay. Yes. All right. From 3s, I hope you are ready for that. And just to remind you, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook. And please feel free to ask any questions that you might have by using our WhatsApp number. Nomfundo, you can begin your lesson.
Oh, thank you, Nogwazi. Good afternoon, learners at home. Welcome to our religious education lesson. We are looking at the crucifixion, death and burial of Jesus Christ, as Nogwazi has just said. By the end of this lesson, you are expected to be able to relate the crucifixion, the death and burial of Jesus Christ. You should also be able to explain the importance of the crucifixion, death and burial of Jesus. You should also be able to explain the symbolic meaning of the cross in which Jesus was crucified and the new tomb in which he was laid. You should also be able to explain how the identity of Jesus Christ is revealed in his crucifixion and death. Lastly, you should be able to explain lessons drawn from the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Okay, yes, I hope your Bibles are ready. Remember, we are using only the Revised Standard Version, your notebook and your pens, of course. Before we get to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, we already know that the crucifixion and death of Jesus Christ was prophesied by so many prophets in the Old Testament. Let's have a look at the prophet Isaiah. This one is taken from the book of Isaiah 53, verse 12. This is what the prophet said. Poured out his soul to death and was numbered with the transgressors, yet he bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. So here the prophet was prophesying about Jesus Christ, who was going to pour out his soul to death. Remember, this is by this time Jesus Christ was not even born. So his crucifixion and his suffering and death was prophesied a long time before his birth. So he said that the Christ, the Messiah, will pour out his soul to death. He will be numbered. He was numbered with the transgressors, sinners. He was numbered with sinners. We remember, this is a topic that you already know. So many of you are Christians. You already know that Jesus Christ was crucified along with other criminals. 2, crucifixion was a punishment for criminals. That shows that he was numbered with sinners. Yet he bore the sin of many people. Jesus Christ was crucified so that so many people will be forgiven from sin, will be cleansed from sin. So his death was his way of asking for forgiveness for the sins of the world. Okay? And then when you look at crucifixion, in the Jewish context, a crucifixion was a punishment for sinners. So a crucifixion was a form of punishment for sinners, people with serious cases like political rebels and murderers. And then Jesus Christ is given the same punishment as these sinners. Yet we know that as Isaiah had said also, he was sinless himself, but he bears the punishment that was given to sinners. Let us look at his crucifixion. Yes, as usual, I have taken the story from the book of Luke. Please note that the story is also recorded in the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, and John. But I have decided to use Luke. You must, as Form 3s, read all Gospels. Okay. So Jesus Christ, after Jesus' trial, he was led to be crucified. He was led to the cross. We are told that he was led along 2 criminals and he was crucified at the place called the Skull. 2 criminals were with him. One was crucified on his left and the other on his right. So he was amidst those criminals. And as he was crucified, he only said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." So he asked he prayed for his enemies to be forgiven. He prayed for the people who were crucifying him to be forgiven. Yet they did not even ask for that forgiveness. Soldiers cast lots and divided his garments. Soldiers cast lots and divided his garments. Look at these people. They are crucifying Jesus Christ because he is a blasphemous man. Yet, when he was crucified, they cast lots to divide his garments. Who will want garments of an evil man? So these people are confirming that Jesus Christ is a powerful man. Everyone wants a piece of his garments. It's strange, isn't it? A ruler who was there amongst those crucifying Jesus Christ mocked him. He said, he served others. Let him serve himself. He served others. He saved others. Let him save himself. If he is Christ of God, his chosen son. So, because he was spiritually blind, he thought that Jesus Christ being the Son of God, he should have all the powers that God has. Or maybe it could be that he knew the miracles that Jesus Christ performed before this day. So as the Son of God, he should be able to save himself. That is what he thought, not understanding the reason behind the suffering of Jesus Christ. Soldiers even mocked him by offering him vinegar to drink. You know that vinegar has this terrible taste, but he was given vinegar to drink, to show that these people were mocking him. No one can drink vinegar. And they said, if you are the king of the Jews, save yourself. If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself. They even wrote an inscription on his cross, "This is the King of the Jews." Again, this was a way of mocking Jesus Christ, calling him king, yet he was crucified like a sinner on the cross. This is not a punishment that would be given to a person of his state, a king. But that punishment was given. So they are mocking him. You are calling yourself a king, yet you are crucified as a sinner. Not knowing that indeed they were confirming that Jesus Christ was the King of the Jews. And even one of the criminals, imagine, one of the criminals said, if you are the Christ, you have saved so many people, save yourself and us as well. So he asked Jesus Christ to save himself and also save them, because the soldiers and the rulers was also spiritually blind. He did not understand who Jesus Christ was. But the other one who was with him, he was so repentant. He rebuked his friend. He rebuked his friend and said, look at this man, he is innocent, yet he receives the same punishment that we get. And then he decided to repent and said to Jesus Christ, please remember me in your kingdom. So he asked Jesus Christ to remember him in his kingdom. And Jesus Christ accepted his repentance and said, truly, truly, I say to you, today I will be with you in paradise. So his repentance led him to paradise. Let's move on now and look at his death. So after being crucified, Jesus Christ then died on the cross. Before his death, we are told that there was darkness in the whole land for 3 hours. The Bible records that this happened on the 6th hour of that day. So there was darkness, total darkness for 3 hours. As people were amazed by the darkness, the curtain at the temple that divided the temple and the Holy of Holies was torn into 2. The book of Matthew, as I have said, we are going to read also Matthew, even records other instances like there was an earthquake, rattling of stones, tombs were opened and people resurrected from the death. That is recorded in the Gospel of Matthew. You will see it as you read, but it is not in the Gospel of Luke that I have just read. After those incidents, Jesus cried in a loud voice. He said, Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. After saying that, he died. When Jesus Christ died, a centurion who was secretly a follower of Jesus Christ. We are told that he did not take part in the trial of Jesus Christ. He was not amongst those who wanted him killed. So that man said, certainly, this man was innocent. He could tell that certainly this man was innocent. The charges laid against him were not true. He was charged for blasphemy, calling himself the Messiah. So after seeing all these events that took place, the centurion was convinced that this man is the Christ. So he is innocent. Those charges are not true. And the multitudes, the people who were there to witness the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, returned home. They were supposed to be home there. Please write home. They returned home beating their breast. Why were they beating their breast? Because they were in so much pain that this man that has just died is surely the Messiah. So they were in pain. Okay. So now Jesus Christ has died. What will happen to his body? Luke also continues to record that there was a certain man called Joseph. He was from Arimathea. This Joseph of Arimathea was so courageous to go to Pilate to ask for Jesus' body. Joseph of Arimathea went to Pilate to ask for Jesus' body in order to give Jesus Christ a decent burial. He wrapped it in a linen shroud and he laid him on a new tomb. It was not just any tomb, but it was a new tomb. That tells us that other people were buried in old tombs or used tombs. That is why there is the emphasis on the kind of tomb that Jesus Christ was laid on. It was new. Then there were these women who had been with Jesus Christ from Galilee. Those women included Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of John, and other women. So Mary Magdalene and other women followed and saw the tomb in which Jesus Christ was laid and how his body was laid, showing how much they were concerned about Jesus Christ even after he had died. Remember, dear Lena, that it is often important to note that this was the beginning of the Sabbath. This was the beginning of the Sabbath. So they went there to see the body, and then they returned to prepare spices and ointment to preserve the body of Jesus Christ. They couldn't do it at this time because of the Sabbath laws. So they wanted to come back after the Sabbath to preserve Jesus's body. Yes, Nogwazi, it looks like we've got something to say.
Yes, I actually do have something to say, Nomfundo. Can we take a little bit of an infomercial break, if you let me?
Yes, okay, we can do that.
Viewers, can we take a little bit of an infomercial break? We'll be right back after this.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Wash, washy, wash, washy, wash, wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing the song. Wash, washy, wash, washy, wash, wash. Rub your hands and fingers in the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Taking care of yourself is also taking care of others. We're all in this together.
Welcome back to our viewers. You are still tuned in to Eswatini TV, and this is Home Study, and we are still on the Religious Education Form 3 lesson with Nomfundo Dlamini. Nomfundo, I don't know if you'd call this a question, but it's actually going to take you back a bit. One of your students is asking you to please repeat the key elements of the death of Jesus.
Okay, unfortunately, I won't repeat the key elements. Lena, please do read Luke chapter 23 from verse 32 to 54. You will get those key elements from your Bible. Just encouraging you to read your Bible.
Okay, Nomfundo, thank you very much for that. I think I'll let you carry on with your lesson.
Okay, thank you, Nkosi. Okay, let's move on now, dear Lena. Having looked at the key elements of the crucifixion and death of Jesus, let's look at the symbolic meaning of the cross and the new tomb in which Jesus Christ was laid. Okay. Let's start by looking at the cross, the symbolic meaning of the cross. The cross symbolizes God's unconditional love. The cross symbolizes God's unconditional love. God showed his unconditional love to the world when he gave his only son, Jesus Christ, to die for people's sins, to cleanse people from sin. Okay? That is God's unconditional love. He loved people even though they were sinners. Then he gave his only son. 2, the cross symbolizes the forgiveness of sins. I have already said the Son of God, Jesus Christ, died on the cross so that people are forgiven from their sins. So when Christians see a sign of the cross or a cross, they are reminded of the forgiveness of sins. And lastly, it symbolizes Jesus Christ as the final sacrifice. We have talked about this a number of times. Jews used to offer sacrifices in the temple, like in this time of Passover. They had to offer Passover lambs as sacrifices to God. So this was a final sacrifice. After the time of Jesus Christ, no animal will be accepted to God as a sacrifice, because this sacrifice was greater than any animal that could be sacrificed. Okay. Let's move on now, dear Lena, and look at the tomb in which Jesus Christ was laid. We are told that this was a new tomb. No one had ever been laid on this particular tomb. This could symbolize purity. Jesus Christ was pure, sinless, as we've already seen. So thus, he was not laid in a used tomb. As a pure person, he was laid on a pure tomb because he was sinless himself. This new tomb could also symbolize a new covenant that Jesus Christ had brought to the world. A new covenant in Jesus Christ. We have learned about so many covenants from book 1. You will remember. Now, this is a new covenant. This is a new covenant through the blood of Jesus Christ. Okay, so that could be another symbolic meaning of the new tomb. Okay, let's move on now to look at the significance of the death of Jesus Christ. Why is it important? It is a reminder of the sacrifice that Jesus made. He sacrificed himself so that people's sins could be forgiven. It is also important for the cleansing of sins. By his death, all sins were forgiven. Also, it is a fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecies. Old Testament prophets like Isaiah, which I have read, prophesied that the Messiah will suffer and be killed. So Jesus Christ being crucified and being killed, that fulfills that prophecy. Also, it was proof that Jesus Christ was the Messiah. How? Look at all the incidents that took place when Jesus Christ died. Darkness for 3 hours, the curtain in the temple turning into 2, the rattling, the edge of stones, the earthquake, as well as the opening of tombs. Though all those strange things showed that this was not an ordinary man. He was not. There was nothing ordinary about Jesus Christ. So many people had been crucified, but this is the first time such is recorded. Okay. Also, it is important because it restored the relationship. It restored the relationship between men and God. The relationship between men and God was broken by sin. So when man was cleansed from sin, that meant that the relationship between men and God was restored. God hates sin. Sin separates people from God. So when people are cleansed from sin, then the relationship between them and God is restored. And lastly, the death of Jesus Christ removed the barrier that prevented people from coming into the presence of God. It removed the barrier that prevented people from coming into the presence of God. You see this during this time, we are told that the curtain at the temple was torn into 2. Okay, let me go back a little bit. This curtain at the temple separated the Holy of Holies and the rest of the temple. So there was a part known as the Holy of Holies where Jews were not allowed to get in. This place was known as God's dwelling place. It was regarded as God's dwelling place. Only the high priest was allowed to get into that room only on the Day of Atonement. He should also be cleansed of his own sins before getting into that sanctified place. So the curtain being torn at the death of Jesus Christ simply meant that barrier is now removed. Everyone is now allowed to come into the presence of God, not through the high priest, but everyone can just come and cry into his Lord for his or for himself or for herself. Okay, that is the significance of the death of Jesus. Let's move on now and look at how the identity of Jesus Christ is revealed. Which identity? That he is the Messiah, that he is the King of the Jews, that he is the Son of God. Okay. How does the death reveal that Jesus Christ is the Messiah? Look at all the anomalies at his death that I have already talked about. The darkness for 3 hours, the the curtain at the temple, the rattling of the stones, the earthquake, the opening of the graves, all those abnormal events that took place when Jesus Christ died show that surely Jesus Christ was not an ordinary person, but he was the Messiah. Okay? And then, dear Lena, we learn that Jesus Christ is the King of the Jews from his crucifixion and death. How? We said when we were looking at the key elements that there was an inscription on the cross written, "This is the King of the Jews." That itself on its own confirms that Jesus Christ was the King of the Jews. Okay. And lastly, we have seen through his death that he was the Son of God. How? He forgives sins. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That shows that Jesus Christ was the Son of God, forgiving sins. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He asked for forgiveness of sins for his enemies, the very same people who crucified him. And then the fact that he calls God Father shows us that he was God's Son. That was not the only time in which he called God Son. Even before he died, he said, "Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit." Again, he addressed God as Father. That shows that Jesus Christ was God's Son. Moving on, we'll look at the lessons that we learn from the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. We learn that you must forgive your enemies. This is a difficult one, yes, but you have to do it. Forgive your enemies. We learn that from Jesus Christ, who is our role model. We imitate Christ as Christians. Forgive your enemies. He forgave those people who tortured him, who nailed him on the cross, those people who were mocking him. He forgave. Father, forgive them. They did not ask for forgiveness. We learn that we forgive our enemies even if they don't ask for forgiveness, but we still have an obligation to forgive. We also learn that repentance is key. Look at the second criminal when the other one had joined the soldiers and the rulers to mock Jesus. He rebuked his friend and then he repented, said, "Be with Jesus, be with me in your kingdom." That was a sign of repentance. And Jesus Christ said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, today I will be with you in paradise." So we learn, dear learner, that repentance is key. Repentance leads to paradise. So if you don't repent, if you remain sinful, we are learning today that you will not get into paradise. You will not inherit the kingdom of God. Those are very great lessons, dear learner, that we learn from the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Having said all those things, I am definitely having some work for you to do. Let's look at this very short homework. I know it's too short for you. Analyze. You analyze the character of Jesus, the character of the two criminals, the character of the soldiers and the rulers, and the character of Joseph of Arimathea. That is your homework. You look at the story and then you tell us what you learn about the characters of these people. Okay? Then that, dear learner, brings us to the end of our today's lesson. Let's look at what we have learnt. We have learnt about the crucifixion, death and burial of Jesus Christ. We also looked at the significance of the crucifixion, death and burial of Jesus. We looked at the symbolic meaning of the cross and the new tomb. We also looked at how the identity of Jesus Christ is revealed. And lastly, we looked at lessons that we can learn from the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. That brings us to the end of our lesson. Nokwazi?
Thank you very much, Nomfundo, for that interesting lesson. And we hope to see you again for another religious education lesson.
Yes.
Please. All right, from threes, do not go anywhere. Lerato will be right back with the English language teacher for from 3, Putumile Dlamini. We'll be right back after this.
When we talk of screening, basically, this is a preventative measure of finding out if there's any problem that may present as a result. So when you screen, you're trying to find out whether it exists or not, the problem. So in our case, the idea of screening is to ensure that everyone does not present with high temperature. So anyone who's presenting with higher temperature than usual is then picked up. And then from then on, you'll then be tested to make sure that you have the virus or not. That is the main difference.
Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kuligciwane lecorona.
Wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing this song. Wash. Move your hands and fingers in the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Taking care of yourself is also taking care of others. We're all in this together.
In the Kingdom of Eswatini, we learn from home because of the COVID-19 pandemic, through social media platforms and television. The government provides us with subjects and teachers of grade 7, Form 3 and Form 5. Watch home study on channel 286 on DSTV or channel 02 on Ginger, or else watch live on Eswatini TV YouTube channel.
Why is hand washing with soap effective against COVID-19? The coronavirus is too small to see, but is covered with little spikes that stick tightly to the natural greases on your skin. It gets on your skin by someone with COVID-19 coughing or sneezing nearby you, or by you touching an unclean surface where the virus can stay active for up to several days. But washing hands...
Welcome back from Threes. If you've just tuned in for the second subject, you are right on time. We are doing English language with Miss Putumile Dlamini. A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon to you, Lerato. How are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very good. Thank you.
I'm great. So I hear that today we're going to be, actually I'm aware that we're going to be learning about listening and answering questions.
Yes.
What do you expect the viewer at home to have learned by the end of the lesson?
Yes. So today we are actually expecting the viewer to be able to look into the different question types and how to actually answer those different question types. It is basically a build up on our previous lesson. So it's actually getting to understand that listening questions come in different structures, and how do you actually anticipate what to listen to.
Wow, it seems very interesting, ma'am. I hope that the Form 3s are ready to narrow their listening skills today. Okay, without wasting time, you may begin your lesson.
All right. Thank you so much. In today's lesson, like Lerato has just said, it is basically looking into listening and answering questions. It is a build up from our previous lesson, like I had said, whereby we were actually looking into the different reasons why we listen. We also looked into the different activities one needs to do before listening. That is the pre-test or the pre-listening test, where you actually study the situation presented for you. And now we are actually going to be looking into in detail the different questions and the different question types. What is expected of you as a learner, and how are you expected to even answer in that form of context. So our objectives are simply you are going to be at the end of the lesson, you will state the different activities in the listening exercise. You will explain the requirements of each question type. You will also look at the different question structures. Like I had said, how do these questions come? In what structure do they come, and what are you expected to do in that type of question? You are also going to also hint back on the tips that we had shared on how to listen. We will also look into the listening outcomes. So there are different activities that come when we are listening. There is the type of question or the type of structure whereby you are going to be listening to a short spoken or to a series of short spoken text. What normally happens there is that you are presented with different scenarios, and for each scenario there is a question that is asked per that scenario. And in most instances you discover that in each scenario the question is normally structured in a WHA pattern, whereby they will be asking you, where is this located, who is saying this, what is this, why is this happening. So it is very important that you are also aligned, or you have aligned your mind into understanding the requirements of each WH question. So in this type of a question, like I said, they are going to present you with different scenarios or different situations. It can be a brief dialogue. Maybe you can hear two people sharing on something, and maybe in their sharing there is your answer there. It can be a telephone conversation. Someone may be calling, ordering something, or maybe let's say you are calling Debonairs and you are ordering your favorite pizza. So those things are normally found in this type of actually of questions. So they present you a series of live scenarios that happen in our day-to-day activities. We are going to be actually looking at them as we continue with our lesson. Another activity that is there, it is completing the gaps. So what normally happens in this type of a question is that you normally listen to a certain talk, and as you listen to a talk, you are going to be now anticipating what is to follow, and you answer as what is being said when that person is speaking. So you are just filling in the gaps. In this type of question, there are certain leads, or there are certain things that will normally lead you to the appropriate answer. So it is very important that you are also concentrating when you are doing this part of listening. And I want to just highlight that the first type of listening to short spoken text, it's normally in our first exercise when we are answering our paper 3. And the second type, which is completing gaps, it is normally in our exercise 2 and exercise 3. I will also go into it in detail. And now the last part of activities that we find, it is whereby you are now listening for understanding, where they're now testing if you actually understood the matter that you have been listening to. Are you able to infer? Are you able to compare and contrast? Are you able to draw out differences from what you are actually listening to? So it is very important that you actually understand that. So we are now going to go into our first question type, which I said you are listening to a series of short passages. So what you are normally done here, like I said, you are presented with a series of scenarios, meaning that these are disjointed scenarios or situations that are presented. It is unlike listening to a complete interview maybe about COVID-19, but you are going to be shown live examples. That is, you will have different scenarios or from different parts of situations or of discourses where those scenarios have taken place. For instance, we have a question here, and the question you start with, of course, analyzing your question. Here it is written for question 1 to 2. You will hear a series of short passages. You will hear each passage twice. So meaning that for each scenario, you are going to hear the same scenario repeated to you 2 times. It is very important then to start and analyze the question. For instance, where are the books from? Where normally is attached to location. So where are the books from? So we are going to look into a location where books have been taken from. So it is very important for you to understand as you have analyzed your question there. So it means that in whatsoever you are going to be listening to, there will be a part or a segment that will give you a location of where books have been taken from. It is very important that, dear Lena, you now get to understand that as you are listening to that clip, there will be something I talked about the last time, and I said these are distractors, meaning these are things that will sound like they are like the answer, but they are not really the answer. So it is very important that you understand that in this type of question, in as much as maybe I would have different locations coming from this short dialogue, but what is actually needed from me is that I must understand that where are these books taken from. So you may have a scenario which says that the books in the library have been bought from Macmillan. The books in the library have been bought from Macmillan. Notice that there are 2 locations there. There is in the library and there is Macmillan. But you're going to understand that we are not just looking at where are these books stored, but where are they really taken from. And you understand that the correct location there is Macmillan, but not the library. So it is the same here. We have another question that says, what are the 2 possible consequences of not being a road wise or of not being road wise as a pedestrian? What are the 2 possible consequences of not being road wise as a pedestrian? It means that in whatsoever it is that you are going to be listening to, there is going to be a talk that is speaking about being a road-wise pedestrian, which may present to you the advantages of being a road-wise pedestrian and the disadvantages. And you may find that maybe the disadvantages are more than 2. Maybe there are 5. But note the question. The question requires you to pick out only 2 possible consequences of not being roadwise as a pedestrian. So it is very important that as you have analyzed the question, you are also picking the information which is relevant. Please note that this is one of the simplest exercises of listening. So you must make sure that you get all marks, because it is very important to get them by analyzing your question and actually mastering the scenario that has been given to you. We are going to move forward and look into filling in the gaps. Like I said, that filling in the gaps, it is usually seen in our exercise 2 and exercise 3, which is when you are normally presented with a talk about a certain topic. It can be a talk that speaks about family life, like in this case. It can be a talk or maybe an interview that speaks about the benefits of studying. So it is any topic that you may have. So in this type of question, you actually cue in and you listen to the talk as it is happening. You listen to the talk as it is happening, my dear Lena, because this is where you will actually get to understand the right word or the right phrase that you are supposed to put in that required space. And in most instances, you find that as the talk unfolds or as the talking is still ongoing, the questions or the answers follow in that chronological manner. So it is very important for you to understand that as you focus. You are also leading yourself to understand. For instance, here the question says each family has its own unique. It means that the person talking is going to be mentioning a statement exactly like this, which is complete. So what you need to do is fill in the gap by taking that which is complete and filling it in the right place. And you must notice that in some instances you will discover that in each sentence they require multiple fill-ins. They require you to fill in multiple things. So it means that in most instances this happens when you discover that it is all within the same sentence or the same statement. So it is very important that you anticipate, you listen to what is going to be said there so that you fill in appropriately. It is also important to note that this part of the question sometimes comes with headings. Those headings are also allowing you, or they are giving you a lead to actually be attentive to what am I especially listening to. Because when you understand that this is what I'm actually listening to, it draws your focus to the appropriate part of the listening or of that talk that you are listening to. So it is very important that you note that if maybe, let's say, there is a paragraph that is looking at characteristics and another paragraph that is looking at effects, it means that as you are going to listen in that part or in that heading, you are going to feel only the characteristic of that thing or that entity that they are speaking about. I am sure now, dear learner, that it has been easy for you to notice that this listening paper is almost identical with our reading paper. Like I had said, that these are they are looking at the same skill. They are both helping us to develop in our language. We are going to focus into the other part of our question, that is listening for understanding. I'd said that when you listen for understanding, it is now high order because it requires you to actually listen attentively. And as you listen attentively, you sift the appropriate information. You pick the appropriate information. It is not like you are now just listening to fill in certain gaps, but you are also trying to going to find out, is this really relevant in this part of the question? Am I actually answering what has been asked? Am I actually maybe comparing and contrasting? Am I looking at the entities and looking at the comparing qualities and the contrasting qualities? When you listen for understanding, it is very important that you notice that. So when you listen for understanding, you are going to find a question that will ask you how something happened, which means that you need to listen at the process. There will be questions that will ask you to compare. I remember a question that was talking about grapes that says compare these raisins and seedless grapes. So it is very important for you to notice that this is information that has been said about raisins and this is information that has been said by seedless grapes. So I'm going to draw out a comparison and also find out a difference. If you are comparing and contrasting, it is very important that you use the appropriate conjunctions. For instance, I once made an example and I said Miss P is shorter than Lerato. Putting shorter than allows you to actually draw in comparisons between those two entities. So it is very important that you do that. I have with me here an example of what you may find in these questions. For instance, question 1, it says, in Swazi culture, how is a man's wealth measured? In Swazi culture, how is a man's wealth measured? It is very important now because you notice that this is high order. You are now going to infer from what has been actually said in that talk, and you are going to draw out that if maybe in that talk it says that if a Swazi man has a lot of cattle, that person is required to be rich or wealthy, then it means that this is how maybe in Swazi culture they measure that this person is wealthy. So what have you done there? You have actually derived from the text. You have actually picked from what has been said and you have drawn out your own conclusions. So it is in this part of the question, when you listen for understanding, where you find that it is very imperative that you understand the question, and as you listen you draw out the appropriate answer. Also, when you are going to be listening for understanding, they will also ask you to draw out definitions from what has been said. Draw out a definition. Maybe they've been defining a certain term, and sometimes it can be lengthy. So it is very important that as you write or as you answer, you have mastered that this is the definition and you have not picked what the distractor is trying to show you. So it is very important, my dear Lena, that as you are listening for understanding, you pick the relevant information. Is there a question, Lerato?
Actually, there's a request. Can we please take an infomercial break and then we'll be back?
All right, thank you.
Okay, view at home, let's take a quick infomercial break.
Why is hand washing with soap effective against COVID-19? The coronavirus is too small to see, but is covered with little spikes that stick tightly to the natural greases on your skin. It gets on your skin by someone with COVID-19 coughing or sneezing nearby you, or by you touching an unclean surface where the virus can stay active for up to several days. But washing hands thoroughly with soap for 20 seconds is highly effective against the virus. Soap loosens the grip of the virus on the skin and destroys the outer layer of the virus, pulling it apart. This means the virus loses its power to infect people. Washing your hands well with soap means you can destroy or remove the virus and wash it away before it has the chance to infect you or your family. By washing hands with soap and water, people protect themselves, their loved ones, family, and the community. By acting together, we can help stop the spread of coronavirus.
Welcome back, viewer. We are still learning English language with Miss Putumile Dlamini, and the topic is listening. You can also catch us on our social media platforms, which are YouTube and Facebook. We are live from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and if you've missed any episodes, do not worry, we got you. Just go to our YouTube page. Ma'am, you can continue with our lesson.
Thank you so much, Lerato. So when we started this lesson, we actually looked into the first aspect of our lesson. That is, we looked into the different question types and what they demand from us. And we also looked into detail that when a question presents itself in this way, what is really required from you. So now we are going to go to the second part of our lesson, where we are going to note how to listen and how are we actually supposed to answer in what we are listening to. I won't overemphasize this, but it is very crucial. It is important that when you listen, you fully participate in the listening exercise by concentrating or by putting your focus in what you are listening to. You are supposed to be fully engaged with your listening activity because you do not want to miss the appropriate questions. I want to make an example. When you are concentrating, it means that you are going to even shut out those thoughts that may come as a distraction to you. So concentration is very important. And now you are also going to now read the question. And you are also going to be analyzing the question. I know that in most instances we focus on just looking at the keywords, but as you are analyzing the question, you must also note the mark allocation. How many marks are given to that question? And in this listening exercise, especially when you are filling in the gaps, you must also notice that how many gaps are there, that how many gaps do I need to fill in order for me to get the complete mark, so that you are alert in what you are supposed to listen listen to. And as you analyze the question, like I said, you are going to now anticipate the information that will be shared in whatsoever it is that you are going to be listening to. Let me make an example. You are going to be listening about the activities one needs to do when they are in the library. You just start to think, what is really expected of you when you are in the library? You are expected to be silent. You are expected to take your books to a different place. You are expected to have your library card. You are expected to actually be in your own library desk and not disturb the others. So this is what I call anticipating maybe the kind of talk that you will find in what you are going to be listening to, because you are now opening your mind into the jargon or the words that you are going to find in whatsoever it is that you are going to be listening to. And also, as you are also anticipating through your analysis, you actually also try to caution yourself that this is what is expected maybe in this situation. Let me make an example. Let's say you are going to be listening to a radio interview, and you know what happens in radio. Sometimes there is a music clip that is going to be played there, and sometimes you'll find that there is a presenter and maybe there's an interviewer and an interviewee. So by doing that, you are aligning yourself with the process or how things will follow in that kind of a scenario. So as you do that, you are also trying to focus your mind into not being shocked by things that will happen in that kind of a talk. I've made an example of a radio scenario. Maybe you hear, maybe in your listening, you are in your exam and they are now playing a song. It doesn't mean that be distracted and start dancing or start laughing at the song. How they know this song? It is my favorite song. No. You need to be focused, because this is where you are actually going to be listening, and you may find that even in that song you have your answer. So you must fully concentrate and be fully engaged in what you are listening to. So it is also important that as you analyze your question, like I said, you underline the keywords, that is maybe your WH words and other words that you find that will lead you to the answer. And it is very important that you write down the synonyms of those words. It is very normal where you find that as you write the synonym, that synonym might be the word that is going to be used as you are going to listen. So in that way, it recollects or your thoughts into understanding the information that is required of you. And also, as you are also trying to also analyze, it will also give you the cues. For instance, as you are analyzing, maybe your question says give reasons or why is this happening. You are also going to give yourself cues in your mind that this is a statement that will normally tell me that a reason is coming. Maybe when someone says because of A, B, C, and D, this is what happens, or as this, so you now go, it is easy for you to cue your mind that this is the appropriate answer that I'm going to pick there. Why? It is because you have properly analyzed your question. Now, how do you answer? You answer briefly and precisely, including all information necessary. So, because you are listening, it doesn't mean you are going to be restating the questions. No, you are just going to be taking an information that you have been asked. Like maybe you would equate this with what you do maybe in your paper one, that is your reading comprehension, where you just answer what you have only been asked. So also in this scenario, you are also going to be brief, but you ensure that you include the relevant information that you have been asked. Relevant information also goes with words of approximation. For instance, where they will say almost a third of students are A, B, C, and D, almost a third, and maybe they're asking you how many students. So it's very important for you to also include that word of approximation, that almost a third of students are like what maybe that text have been saying. And also include units of measurements. For instance, it is 30 kilometers. John ran 5 kilometers today. In your answer, don't just write 5. Include the unit of measurement, 5 kilometers. If maybe they are speaking about money and they said it is 10 emalangeni to get a bottle of water, how much is it? You are just going to write 10 with the symbol emalangeni. It is very important to do that because you cannot just say 10. The person marking your script will ask themselves, I wonder, 10 what? 10 dogs. So it's very important for you to actually put in the appropriate unit of approximation and the appropriate unit of measurement. And also, as you listen, I will also stress this: be aware of the distractors. Distractors is information that may sound like the answer, but they are not actually the answer. It is through proper analysis where you are actually going to now say that this is the appropriate information. Let me make an example. I once made it the last lesson where I spoke about a person ordering a set of lunch boxes, and the person was given certain colors, but the person had his own preference, which was green. So you may find a scenario whereby in the talk, maybe it's a telephone conversation, the person selling the lunch boxes may say, we have red ones, blue ones, and yellow ones. Which color would you like? And the speaker would say, I would like the red ones. That is now your answer. It doesn't mean that just because you have heard the answer, you might write that answer that you have just heard, but be attentive into saying, is this the appropriate answer? Is this what is needed by the person ordering in this case? So it is very important that you are also aware of the distractors as you are also answering, because you do not want to write the wrong answer there. It is very important also to mind your spelling. Spelling is key in listening papers, because this is where you are actually now going to be displaying your ability to actually hear language as it is being used. Maybe you are not reading it, but you are now listening to the words. So it is very important that you write the appropriate spelling. What makes you to be sure that I'm putting in or I'm writing the appropriate spelling? It goes back to your question analysis. Have you mastered the situation correctly? Because mastering the situation correctly will also enable you to know the kind of vocabulary that you are going to meet in that form of a talk. You will now know that this is the appropriate word. Let me make an example. Maybe you couldn't hear the speaker correctly, but because you have also in your mind channeled yourself into understanding that in this scenario, if it is a scenario maybe about medicine, this is the kind of terminology that I am expecting to find in that type of a talk. And as you're also listening for spelling, be aware of homophones. Homophones are words that normally they sound like they are spelled, they sound the same as you listen to them. For instance, the word heard. There is heard, that you have heard something was being said. There is heard, meaning you heard something, you had received something. So those words, they normally sound like they sound the same. But it's important for you as the person listening that you are able to distinguish between those words by actually mastering the type of scenario that you have been given. And also follow the appropriate rules of grammar. As you follow the appropriate rules of grammar, that is, as you are answering, I said you answer briefly. Meaning, if you are going to be answering briefly, you will answer in phrases. So if you are answering in phrases, you are not maybe going to start with a capital letter and put a full stop, but you are just going to answer that part of the question. Maybe that you write that word, write that phrase. But if it happens that maybe the required answer is a proper noun, it means that you are now supposed to begin with a capital letter. I once told you what are proper nouns. I said these are nouns that name distinguishing entities. That is like a name of a person, a name of a place, a name of an organization, the names of the subjects that we teach. So if you are given a scenario where you are now supposed to pick or write that word, remember that this is a proper noun. I must punctuate it appropriately. Because if you have missed the punctuation, you'll also find that you lose the mark that you were supposed to be awarded by not observing the appropriate punctuation. And it is also important to notice that, like I had been saying, that you will find that our listening and our reading, they normally share the same outcomes. For instance, your ability to select, organize, and analyze material. It is required in reading. It is also required in listening. For instance, if a question has said, where and when did this happen? Write it in the appropriate order, even when you are listening. So it is also important that you are able to pick, you are able to select the appropriate information. You are also able to distinguish between a fact and an idea. You are able to tell the difference that this is an idea or an opinion of a speaker. This is a fact that has been stated, which is true. For instance, I normally say that there are certain questions that will ask you to maybe pick out how maybe the speaker feels. Let's say about the lockdown. How does the speaker feel? That speaker will share his or her own opinion of that. So it is important that if we are saying that listening has taken place, you are able to distinguish that this person is showing their opinion. For instance, you would hear by the person saying, I feel in this way. So that person has become personal now in that talk. So he has selected you are able to select the appropriate opinion of that speaker. And you will find that the first outcome and the second outcome, it is looked into your exercise 1 up to your exercise 5. But now this third outcome, where you are now supposed to infer information from your text, whereby you are now supposed to deduce your own meaning, pick out your own conclusion, be able to share or to be able to tell that this is different from this. It is also one of the outcomes that are tested there, and it is normally tested in our exercise 4 and 5. So I am sure, dear learner, that you were able to now understand the question types that you are presented with and what those question types require of you. You were able to see that when we look into our reading aspect and our listening aspect, it looks like we are sometimes exercise or we use the same skills of answering questions, and you were able to look into the outcomes that are required of you to show that listening has actually taken place. I hope that you were listening to this text and you to this lesson, and you were taking notes as you were listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us today. Thank you to the viewer for watching. It was a very interesting lesson right there. Up next is my colleague Nogwazi, who's going to be presenting the next Form 5 lessons. So Form 5s, stay back because Nogwazi is going to be back after this infomercial.
In the Kingdom of Eswatini, we learn from home because of the COVID-19 pandemic, through social media platforms and television. The government provides us with subjects and teachers of grade 7, Form 3 and Form 5. Watch home study on channel 286 on DSTV or channel 02 on Ginger. Or else watch live on Eswatini TV YouTube channel.
Why is hand washing with soap effective against COVID-19? The coronavirus is too small to see, but is covered with little spikes that stick tightly to the natural greases on your skin. It gets on your skin by someone with COVID-19 coughing or sneezing nearby you, or by you touching an unclean surface where the virus can stay active for up to several days. But washing hands thoroughly with soap for 20 seconds is highly effective against the virus. Soap loosens the grip of the virus on the skin and destroys the outer layer of the virus, pulling it apart. This means the virus loses its power to infect people. Washing your hands well with soap means you can destroy or remove the virus and wash it away before it has the chance to infect you or your family. By washing hands with soap and water, people protect themselves, their loved ones, family, and the community. By acting together, we can help stop the spread of coronavirus.
Hi viewers at home, my name is Professor Shabang. I am the presenter for your favorite health program, Better Health, Better Life. Thank you viewers at home for the calls and the messages, and thank you Eswatini TV for the great platform. Better Health, Better Life Season 4 is coming bigger and better. And now you have a chance to participate by sending a video of your view prior to the next program. On that note, we are appealing to all Eswatini, please stay at home, stop the spread so that we can save lives.
A very warm welcome to our viewers and a very good afternoon if you have just joined us. My name is Nogwazi Dlamini and you are still tuned in to Eswatini TV, and this is Home Study. Right now at this moment we are going to be doing English language for the Form 5s with Winile Dlamini, who is going to be taking the Form 5s through their English language lesson. Also joining us in the studio are our sign language interpreters Zanele Mota and Nompumelelo Hadebe. Winile, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm very fine, thank you. Nogwazi, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you very much for asking. I understand that today we're doing argumentative writing.
Yes, of course.
What are you expecting your learner to have learned by the end of this lesson?
I'm expecting that my learners at home, you are going to be able to structure a sound and a logical argument. So today we're just going to focus on the structure of an argumentative essay and what is expected of you to put in an argumentative essay.
All right, thank you very much for that, Winile. It sounds really, really interesting. It's going to be fun, I hope. Form 5s, I hope that you are ready. And just to remind you about our social media platforms, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please feel free to use our WhatsApp number. Winile, I will not waste your time any further. Please begin your lesson.
Thank you very much, Nogwazi. Dear learners, as Nogwazi has introduced my lesson, today we're going to be looking at argumentative writing. And what we're going to start off with is defining what is argumentative writing. So when we talk about argumentative writing, we are talking about the expression of one's position about an issue. When you're expressing your viewpoint, you're expressing your perspective about an issue. And over and above expressing your viewpoint about an issue, you give evidence, you substantiate why you are saying your viewpoint is correct. That is what argumentative writing is all about. Expressing your opinion and then supporting your opinion with evidence for the purpose of convincing whosoever may be having a contrary view about the topic. So, dear learners, let us continue. What makes a good argument? It is fundamental for you as a writer or as a student to know what makes a good argument. Number one, it must reflect a distinct voice. Because when you're arguing or when you are given an argumentative task, remember there are 2 points of view about the question. So you cannot be holding both points of view in your response. That is why most of the tasks they will give you a statement and they will say, what are your views? They want your side. They want your stand. They want your perspective. So we are saying, dear learners, a good argument has a distinct voice. In other words, your voice or your stand must be very clear After reading your argument, I must be able to say, Nogwazi holds this view, and these are the reasons that Nogwazi has about her perspective. How else, or rather, what else makes a good argument? Dear learners, a good argument has a clear structure. It must be well structured. When we talk about a clear structure, we are talking about clear sequential paragraphing. We are talking about accurate sentence structures. The paragraphing must be sequential. There must be synergy in the way you present your argument. Remember, you are not talking to the people who believe in your point of view. You are talking to the people who are holding a contrary view. Your objective in your argument is to convince them why your point of view is the most important one. So we are saying, dear learners, a good argumentative piece has a clear structure. We are also saying it must have a logical development of ideas. Your ideas must make sense. Your ideas must be arranged sequentially. You don't just throw the paragraph to the teacher. The paragraph will have your point, and then it will develop that point. And how do you develop that point? By giving what? Ideas, by giving what? Evidence about that point. Also, a good argumentative will have what? Clear transition. It's very important, dear learner, to transit from one thought to the other. Move together with the what? The reader. What do we use when we transit? We use what we call linking words. Link those ideas that you're presenting. Other books will call them discourse markers. You're trying to create some ease in the what? In the reading of your work. Also, a good argument will be well supported. Dear learners, when we say well supported, it's well supported by factual evidence. You are not including motions here. You are not becoming so emotional because we want what? Evidence. This is factual writing. So you support your point of view by giving what? Evidence. And it must be logical evidence. Because remember, the pivotal purpose here is to convince the people who hold a contrary view about the topic. Now we continue, dear learners. We have already spoken about a good argument in a summative way. What makes a good argument? I want us now to move on to a sample structure of an argumentative essay. Every essay or composition, it has a what? It has an introduction. But now, because today we are dealing with factual writing, what are you expected to include in your introduction when writing an argumentative essay? We are expecting, dear learners, a what? What we call a hook. Why do we need a hook? You're drawing the reader's what? Attention to your argument. What can you use? You can use a notable quote. You can use what we call a what? An anecdote. When you are introducing your lesson. You can also use, after you have introduced the hook, after you have presented the hook, what else do we need? If you have given the quotation, what do we need? We need what? Background information. We need that background information to support the what? The hook that you have given. For instance, if it's a quotation, give us then, how is the quotation relevant to the argument that you're about to give in your essay? Over to you, Nwezi.
Sorry for that interruption, Winile. Viewers, can we take a little bit of an infomercial break? We'll be right back after this.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Welcome back to our viewers. You are still tuned in to Eswatini TV and this is Home Study. We are with Winile Dlamini, who is doing the English language from 5 lesson. Winile, before you continue with your lesson, one of your students asked during the infomercial actually, what is an anecdote?
Thank you very much, Nogwazi. An anecdote is a short life story. It could be a short life story about you or a short life story about somebody else. Now, in this case, because you are writing an argumentative piece, better use a short life story. You can pick probably people like Nelson Mandela, what Nelson Mandela once shared about his background, or what President Obama, former President Obama once shared about his life story. You are saying it's an anecdote, or you can phrase it an anecdotal statement. But remember, dear Lena, what is important here, whether you pick an anecdote, whether you pick a quote, it's not just because you love the quote. It must be relevant to the argument. So it's not any quotation that you're going to put in your argumentative essay. It must resonate with your line of thought. It must resonate with your argument in the essay. So now you have given the hook. What do? You also provide in the introduction background information. This is necessary information you provide to the reader so that the reader appreciates your position. The reader must appreciate your position. That is why you give background information. And then there is the thesis statement. This is where you convey what you are going to prove in the argument. Remember, it's not proving using emotions. It's proving using facts. You are using evidence, because you want, I may say, your opponents to buy into your idea. My dear learners, let us continue. Now you have had your introduction. Now you may ask, after I've written my good introduction, what should precede now the introduction? What should come after the introduction? It's your first body paragraph. What do you include in your first body paragraph? We are expecting a presentation of your first point of the argument. Present your first point of the argument. Remember, now we are at paragraph level. This is the paragraph that comes after the introduction. It will have the first point of the argument presented in in the form of a topic sentence. What should follow, therefore, is supporting evidence. Give your reader supporting evidence, and it may come in different forms. You give details, you cite past incidences, you cite the status quo about the issue, you give statistics, you make reference to speeches made by people in high standing in society by, or rather, using the very same issue you are arguing about. It is still in that same paragraph. Your point of view, your first point of argument, which will come in the form of a topic sentence, followed by your what? Your supporting evidence. Using what? Details, past incidences, current status quo, using statistics, using speeches made by other notable people, using the very same subject matter you are arguing about. What do you do after that? Make sure you explain how the evidence supports your stand. Dear learner, this is very important. Don't just give the teachers evidence. Oh, according to the research made by UNICEF, this is how the matter stands. So what? Explain. Unpack what that evidence means to you in line of the view that you are presenting. So do explain why the evidence you have presented is relevant, or why it supports your point of view, why it strengthens your line of what? Of thinking. We are not done, dear learners, with your paragraph. Then close the paragraph with what? Echoing your stand. Remember what I said earlier on. A good argument has a preeminent voice. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear your stand. Where are you standing? Because the question has given you the opportunity to take a stand. The examiner will say, what are your views? So we want to hear your voice. So when you end that paragraph, make sure you do what? You close the paragraph by echoing your stand. We continue, my dear learners. Next paragraph. Remember, I've moved from, I will say, the second paragraph after the introduction. What do you do next? You create a transition. Create now a transition. I said earlier on, your argument, it must have synergy. It must flow. It must connect. So you create a transition using what we call connective words. Also, moreover, in addition, furthermore, you are saying to your reader, in the same vein, in the same line of thought, I am continuing my stand. I am continuing my perspective. This is another a point that I'm giving to substantiate what I hold about the idea. So you create that transition, and dear learners, a transition, or we can call the discourse marker, is always followed by a comma. Please remember that. If you say moreover, you put a comma, and then you give your what? Your next topic sentence. So you do what? You present now your second point of the argument. Also, this is what I am saying. When you say also, you have said something in the preceding paragraph. Now you are continuing to the next paragraph. You have connected the two paragraphs using a linking word. So now you present your next point of the argument. You give your what? Your supporting evidence. Now, this is what I want you to pay attention to now. What follows, therefore, is a presentation of an opposing view, a counter argument, dear learners. Because whatever topic you are given, remember, as said, your position does not mean it's absolute. There are other people who believe on the contrary. So do not ignore them. Do present the counter. But here is a very serious caution. You don't present your view and then you counter yourself. Present a view and then you counter. Because now your voice will diminish in that process. So where it suffices, do present a counter. Now I'm saying present a counter argument. How do you do that? You can use phrases like some may argue or others claim that. You are respecting the other point of view. But respecting does not mean you are giving away your perspective. It's a sense of acknowledgement that in as much as this is what I believe, but there is also this claim that belongs to a certain group of people. So once you present the counter, my dear learners, don't leave it at that. What should follow is you explain the weakness of this opposing view. My dear Form 5s, avoid phrases like, some may argue this and this and this and that. And then you say, I think this is foolishness. You see, when you start using words like foolishness, you are undermining their thought. But we want you to show the weakness about their point of view. Remember, you are an astute writer now. You are a matured writer. Show a level of Of respect. Respect does not mean I agree. Respect means I acknowledge. These are two different latitudes. They don't stand on the same pedestal. These are two different opinions, but you want to still maintain your own opinion. So explain the weakness of this view. In debate, we call it a rebuttal. So you explain why you feel there are loopholes in what your opponents believe in. And then you close the paragraph by affirming the validity of your stand. Please do not end the paragraph without affirming. Why, therefore? Because the weakness will create that opportunity for you to do what? To affirm why your standpoint or your perspective or your point of view is supposed to be convincing or persuasive enough to the others. Let us continue, my dear learners. Now we move on to a sample argumentative essay. I just want us to have a sense of what goes on, Let us look at it in its actual form. Let's take, for instance, a question that says, government should invest more in education. What are your views? Government should invest more in education. What are your views? Thank you very much, Nwazi. What would you love to say?
Could we please take another infomercial break? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Viewers, can we take a quick infomercial break? We'll be right back after this.
Wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing the song. Wash. Move your hands and fingers in the places in between. Using soap and water makes your blood so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Taking care of yourself is also taking care of others. We're all in this together.
When we talk of screening, basically, this is a preventative measure of finding out if there's any problem that may present as a result. So when you screen, you're trying to find out whether it exists or not, the problem. So in our case, the idea of screening is to ensure that everyone does not present with high temperature. So anyone who's presenting with higher temperature than usual is then picked up, and then from then on you'll then be tested to make sure that you have the virus or not. That is the main difference.
Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kuligciwane le-corona.
Welcome back to our viewers. You're still tuned into Home Study. Winile, I'm not going to waste any further time. Please continue with your lesson.
Thank you very much, Nogwazi. My dear learners, I said we're going to have a sample argumentative essay now. And we're going to take this question. Government should invest more in education. What are your views? A sample introduction. I'm going to read it to you. I say, Malcolm X once said, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. This holds very true as far as our country's 2022 vision for an improved and an efficient education system is concerned. Though the country's education budget has increased over the years, it is still by far not enough to meet the country's educational needs, which are escalating every year. We must prepare today. We must prepare now for a better tomorrow. It is therefore my strong conviction that our government needs to invest more in education for more returns. My dear learner, what is in this introduction? First of all, we have the what? We have the quotation. By what? By Malcolm X. And the quotation talks about investing in education and preparing for what? For the future. It fits in the line of what? Of the argument. And then it's what? Is agreeing with the what? With the quotation. How the quotation fits in what I am going to talk about. Thereafter, I give my what? My background information about what? Investing more on education. At the end, I end with the what? My point, my stance, my voice, my line of argument. I say it is therefore my strong conviction that our government needs to invest more in education for more returns. The reader of my script knows where I stand. The question asks for my view. Therefore, in the introduction, I am giving the reader my view. After giving all the other necessities, the hook, which in this case is Malcolm X's what? Quotation. I've given the background information, and then I've given you my what? My stand. This is the line of my argument. Next paragraph, my dear learner. My second paragraph now. I say, first and foremost, an increased investment in education by our government will create a platform for more students to receive competitive, cognitive, and technical skills. 10 years ago, the country rolled out the free primary and high school education initiative. As much as this initiative is applauded, it only takes learners to grade 12. Where must they get training to be relevant to the labor market if there is no access to free tertiary education? Or are we saying tertiary is only for the affording? It is imperative, therefore, that Swazi children have access to free tertiary education. The government must beat the clock. Invest more in the students. Invest more in the tertiaries. Undoubtedly, there is no better way, in my view, to achieve this than our government directing more funds in education. What is in this paragraph, my dear Len? First and foremost is my what? My connective. That shows what? Preeminence of what I am going to say. This is my most important, my most pivotal point in the line of the argument. You start with your what? Your strong ones. I am saying an increased investment in education will create a platform for more students. That's my what? Topic sentence. What's supposed to follow there? Supporting what? Evidence. and I've talked about the government's initiative, but I feel there is a weakness in it because it does not give a launching pad to the child now to go to university. The child can only go up to grade 12. Now I am using what? A rhetoric device. I say, when must they get training to be relevant to the labor market if there is no access to tertiary what? Education. I'm saying to my opponent, think about this. This is where my line of argument is coming from. And then I continue, or are we saying tertiary is only for the affording? I'm saying, think again. And then I come back, dear Lena, I give more of the evidence, and at the end I say, I doubt undoubtedly there is no better way, in my view, to achieve this than our government directing more funds to education. I am going back to my voice. I am maintaining my what? My stand. I want the reader to know where my standpoint is about this particular issue. No, Wesley?
No, nothing much to say at the moment.
Thank you very much. Let us continue, my dear Lena. This is my paragraph 2. Now we move on to paragraph 3. Paragraph 3, I have another connective also. I have used what? Also. I'm moving to my what? My next point. When an entire nation is afforded education, the country's economy grows and the nation stabilizes. That's my topic sentence. That is my thematic point in the what? In the paragraph. And I use now the question, how? Because my opponents will be asking, how will that, or how is that going to be realized? Productivity increases, average income increases, and unemployment decreases. This translates to the economic growth of the nation. Is this not what we envisage for our nation? Another rhetoric what? Device. Some may say, my dear Lena, that is where I'm presenting my counter argument. I am now introducing what others believe. I say some may say or may argue that not every educated person secures a good paying job. Now, see how I kind of like present what we call a rebuttal against what my opponents are likely to say. Now I say, while this may be true, I am not saying it is a lie because it is truth. But now I'm saying, while this may be true, but we know this person will not be living in abject poverty either. My dear Lena, I have acknowledged what my opponents say, but I have punched holes in the idea and I go back to my stand. As a matter of fact, that is an emphatic discourse marker. I am emphasizing my point. I say, as a matter of fact, at whatever level of employment, he or she will be earning a wage and definitely contributing to the expansion of the economy. I go back to my stand. It is in this vein that I strongly advocate for an increased investment in education by our competent government. Dear Lena, I have not lost my voice. But yet I acknowledge the what? The contrary point of view. This is what people may claim, which, by the way, it is true. But I feel what I am saying carries more weight. It takes more preeminence in my argument. It is more primary in my argument. I have not said what they are saying is foolishness. I have conceded, I have acknowledged, but I come back and I cite how this is not so much important by presenting a weakness of their point of view. Then I move on, my dear Lena. We've just done 3 paragraphs that should assist you to create your own what? Argumentative structure, whichever topic you are given. Now I just want to give you bonus things that you can include in your argumentative writing. How to persuade in argumentative writing. You can use what? Emphatic connectives. When you're stressing your side, use words like in fact. Use words like absolutely. Use words like as a matter of fact. Use phrases like without a shade of doubt. You are doing a punchline on your what? On your points, on your ideas. You want to sound what? Very confident in what you are saying. You can also use what we call emotive language. What is emotive language? Here is an example. Imagine the citizens of this country living in poverty, illiteracy, and ignorance. So what does it make you think about? Do I want my country to be illiterate? Do I want my country to be ignorant? Do I want my country to be in poverty? I am manipulating the what? The emotions of the person reading my work. Now, there's also what we call the rule of three. Rule of three. I ask you, is this right? Is this just? Is this fair? I am asking you as my opponent. In other words, I'm saying, think about this. We have exaggeration, dear learners. We have what? Rhetorical questions. There are quite many, but these are the ones that I just prepared for you today. Dear Form 5s, I hope that your argumentative will sound better now. Your argumentative will be sound. Your argumentative essay will be logical. It will be sequential. It will make meaning. It will present your voice up to the what? The conclusion of the essay. And thank you very much for listening. Up until next time.
Thank you very much, Winile. Like you just said, up until next time, we hope we will see you again. From 5s, please do not go anywhere. I will be right back. Up next with the Siswati from 5 teacher, Gugu Ngambule. We'll be right back after this.
In the Kingdom of Eswatini, we learn from home because of the COVID-19 pandemic, through social media platforms and television. The government provides us with subjects and teachers of grade 7, Form 3 and Form 5. Watch home study on channel 286 on DSTV or channel 02 on Ginger. Or else watch live on Eswatini TV YouTube channel.
Why is hand washing with soap effective against COVID-19? The coronavirus is too small to see, but is covered with little spikes that stick tightly to the natural greases on your skin. It gets on your skin by someone with COVID-19 coughing or sneezing nearby you, or by you touching an unclean surface where the virus can stay active for up to several days. But washing hands thoroughly with soap for 20 seconds is highly effective against the virus. Soap loosens the grip of the virus on the skin and destroys the outer layer of the virus, pulling it apart. This means the virus loses its power to infect people. Washing your hands well with soap means you can destroy or remove the virus and wash it away before it has the chance to infect you or your family. By washing hands with soap and water, people protect themselves, their loved ones, family, and the community. By acting together, we can help stop the spread of coronavirus.
When we talk of screening, basically, this is a preventative measure of finding out if there's any problem that may present as a result. So when you screen, you're trying to find out whether it exists or not, the problem. So in our case, the idea of screening is to ensure that everyone does not present with high temperature. So anyone who's presenting with higher temperature than usual is then picked up. And then from then on, you'll then be tested to make sure that
you have the virus or not. That is the main difference.
Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane lecorona.
Angikabukele mbukeli ehlelweni lokubukela usekhaya iHome Study lo sembi kwakho ngunokwazi wakadlamini kanti kulesikhathi samanje sitawufunza actually siswati selibanga lelishumi nakunye pheceleti form 5 kanti sowuvele ukhona thishela waso siswati Gugu Nkambule. Gugu unjani lelanga namuhla?
Ngiyaphila nokwazi kunjani?
Ngiyaphila nami. Gugu namhla sidabe sifunza ngebunkondlo sakhiwo sangekhathi. Ubheke ukuthi umfundzi wakho abe afunzeni ekupheleni kwalesifundvo sanamuhla.
Ngibheke ukuthi umfundzi wami ekhaya abe akhona kufunza inkulumo lebhacile evengisho umumfu sekamecisela.
Okay. Kuyevakala Gugu ngicabanga ukuthi songaqala nesifundvo sakho.
Siyabonga. Ngiyakubingelela mfundzi wami ekhaya lokubingelela ngithishela wakho wesiswati Gugu Nkambule lotabe afundzisa tinkondlo letihlolwa ephepheni lesithathu lalo libanga lelishumi nelishumi nakunye form 4 na form 5. Ngiyacela ke mfundzi wami ekhaya ukuthi useda utawuthamela sifundo sethu ungiphathele ipen, ungiphathele liphepha noma libhuku lakho lekubhalela kanye nepencil. Khumbula kuphatha incwadi yakho yetinkondlo sabalala misebe. Utawusebenzisa ipencil yakho kubhala kule ncwadi. Kumcoka besifundvo sethu ke salamuhla kuthi mfundzi wami ekhaya ukhone kuhlatiya noma uchaze inkondlo. Inkondlo uphinze ukhone kukhipha ingcikithi yalenkondlo libhubesi. Lokunye lokungumgomo lengigadze ukuthi ekupheleni kwalesifundvo kube ukhona kukwenda kunika uchaze sakhiwo sangekhathi senkondlo. Khumbula ke mfundzi wami esifundweni sethu lesengcile kwekuthi sabuka nasi sithombe senkhomo. Wasibona sakhiwo sayo sangephandle ukuthi inkhomo inemacici nelicici, inemehlo, inetindlebe kanye nembala wayo ukuthi unjani. Uma ke besingayihlahlela lenkhomo yethu lebe singakubona sithi lingekhathi layo lokungafaka ekhathi emathumbu, lufu, sibinzi neliphaphu. Lokhu longeke ke ukubona emfundzi wami ungakayihlinzi lenkhomo singakufananisa nesakhiwo sangekhathi senkondlo. Esifundweni sethu ke lesengcile saba nanangumfanekiso lesawubona wesakhiwo senkondlo. Sabuka sakhiwo sangephandle. Namhla ke sitawubuka sakhiwo sangekhathi lesithi phinze pheceleti lulwimi noma buciko belulwimi. Yini ke sakhiwo sangekhathi mfundzi wami ekhaya? Singathi buciko sonkondlo la nonga ngabo inkondlo asebenzisa lulwimi. Lokhu ngiko mfundzi lokuzivetela umcondvo lojulile noma lobhacile wayo inkondlo. Angasebenzisa sonkondlo sifananiso ngco, silwanatiso, sihloniphiso, sihabiso, tithombe mcondvo, simunfutiso, luphawu, sicathaniso nalokunye. Sike sitibute ukuthi yini kunonga. Ngalokutayelekile singathi kunonga nje kunanzisa. Kudla kude kuhlamuse, kungaba kungeda luswayi noma tithako tsite. Uma ke sesithi sonkondlo unonga inkondlo yakhe usuke endani ke angasebenzisa imagama kude phela ihlamuse ivete umcondvo lobhacile. Kulesifundvo sethu ke mfundzi wami tibonelo letinyendi sitawutithathela enkondlweni lenesihloko lesithi libhubesi letfolakala ekhasini 66. Khumbula ke mfundzi ukuthi angeke sitithole tonke tibonelo tebucobe kumbunkondlo enkondlweni yinye. Kule nkondlo lesitawugcila kuyo lenesihloko lesithi libhubesi sitawubuka tinongo letifaka ekhathi sifananiso, silwanatiso,
sihabiso, luphawu nesimunfutiso. Sitabeke khona sibuka indlela sonkondlo laveta ngayo imicondvo lefihlakele. Aphinze ende inkondlo yakhe ihlamuse. Asengitihaye ke mfundzi letinzima kude utawucondza lobuciko belulwimi. Sitawuthi singacedza kutihaya bese sesihlatiya umlayeto kafishane wayo lenkondlo. Sihloko sayo sithi libhubesi. Ubhodla kunyakade tintsaba, kusiphuke tinwele tebafokati, tjani bucambalale, buvula indlela, kulambe timphisi nemankenjani. Wena wasekuphakameni unyathela kulilite letinyoni, tihlahla dilethe umthundi. Indlela ivulwe kuta kwakho. Tinyamatane tikuhlole tisemenene. Wena lo wakhula silibele. Ubuka umncolo uwe uthi dzinsi. Ubuka indlula mithi finyele. Ngubani lo ngahlangana nemehlo akho? Ingani awanalunama, ayacocoma, ayayaluda. Singakangena imfundzi wami kubuka imicondvo lemumethwe ngilenzima, asesicale sibuke ukuthi ingcikithi yalenkondlo siyithola njani. Uma ke mfundzi ekhaya ubuka ingcikithi uyibeka njengesihloko. Lesi sibanjalo. Ungaqalisa ngetakhi letifaka ekhatsi k dash, ku dash, bu dash noma ngu dash. Khumbula ke mfundzi, ayibe ngumshwana phela, ingabe ngumusho lophelele. Ayingenge emagameni lasihlanu. Uyatibuta ukuthi siyithola njani ingcikithi. Siye sinake umcondvo logcanyiswa tinzima. Asesibuyele mfundze enkondlweni sibuke ukuthi letinzima letinsathu lesitifundzile betiveta mcondvo muni. Inzima yekuqala sivetelwa emandla enkhosi. Siwabone ngani ke lamandla? Siwabone ukuthi uma ibhodla kunyakata tintsaba. Lokunye siwabone ukuthi kusiphuka tinwele tebafokati. Kanjalo netshani buyacambalala. Enzimeni yesibili sivetelwa lutsandvo bantfu lebanalo ngenkhosi yabo. Bathi nje uma iqhamuka inkosi kulilitela tinyoni. Netihlahla kanjalo diletha umthundi. Lokhu kuyasivetela ukuthi bantfu bayathokota uma kufike inkosi lapho bahlala ngakhona. Asesibuke umcondvo losenzimeni yesithathu. Lana ke sivetelwa inhlonipho bantfu lebanayo ngenkosi yabo. Bathi ke ubuka umncolo uwe uthi dzinsi. Ubuka indlula mithi ifinyele. Lokhu kuyakukhombisa ukuthi bayihlonipha inkosi mfundzi. Sesingathi ke ngalamanye amagama ingcikithi yalenkondlo kudumisa buholi nenhlakanipho yenkosi yelive. Kanti futhi lengcikithi ibuye isivetele umoya walenkondlo. Siyabona ukuthi lapha sonkondlo uyadumisa, uphinze uyahalalisa phela indlela inkosi lehola ngayo bantfu bayo, kanye nenhlakanipho yayo njengemholi welive. So ngaba nalomunye umbuto ukuthi hlobo luni lwenkondlo lolo. Sithikelena inkondlo mzwangedwa. Sikubona ngani lokho? Sonkondlo usivetela noma asendlalele imiva nemicabango yakhe ngendlela inkosi lehola ngayo bantfu bayo, kanye nenhlakanipho lenayo isahola sive sayo. So ngatibuta ke mfundze ekhaya ukuthi leni inkosi phela ifananiswe nelibhubesi njoba sibonile esihlokweni sethu. Leni inkosi ifananiswe nelibhubesi esihlokweni sethu sayo inkondlo. Lana ke siye sithi sonkondlo usuka sebenzisa buciko besakhiwo sangekhathi lobu lestabita ukuthi sifananiso ngco. Yini ke sifananiso ngco? Lapha sonkondlo ufanisa info tsite nalenye. Uye ayigagule noma ayibide ngalenvo la ifananisa nayo.
Lenkondlo sesibonile mfundzi wami letinzima letintsatfu lesifundzile ukuthi ikhuluma ngenkosi yelive, imbube yemhlaba, idumisa buholi, emandla kanye nekuhlonishwa sive semaswati. Loku imbongi ikuvete ngebuciko belulwimi lobehlukene. Lobufaka ekhatsi sona lesifananiso. Asigijime sibuke lesihloko sethu libhubesi. Lapha ke njengoba sengishito kusebenta sifananiso ngco. Inkosi ibitwe ngelibhubesi. Soda utibuta ke mfundzi ukuthi leni inkosi ifananiswe nelibhubesi. Ungabe kuyakutshela phela ngemicondvo lobhacile noma lofihlakele kwekuthi timphawu tayo noma tendo nekutiphatha kwayo kufanana nemandla elibhubesi. Asesibukeke le tendo mfundzi telibhubesi netenkosi letingabe tiyafananiswa. Libhubesi mfundzi siyati ngalokwetayelekile ukuthi linemandla. Kanjalo nenkosi nayo singasho ukuthi inemandla kuto tonke phela tingoni telive. Lokunye lesikwatiko ngelibhubesi ukuthi latiwa ngenkosi yasendle. Libusa letinye tilwane. Kanjalo nenkosi nayo phela iyabusa. Ibusa sive semaswati. Futhi libhubesi siyathi ukuthi liyahlonishwa phela, lihlonishwa ngiletinye tilwane tasendle. Nenkosi kanjalo ihlonishwa bantfu bayo even. Lokunye lesikwatiko ngelibhubesi ukuthi liyabhodla. Uma libhodla futhi letinye tilwane tiye titfobe. Tibuyele endzaweni yato. Kanjalo nenkosi siyati ukuthi phela kude ifananiswe nalelibhubesi ukuthi inesithundi. Uma ikhuluma bantfu bayo bayilalela. Lokunye singasho bathi te ilibhubesi libuyela endzaweni yalo. Lokusho ukuthi nale baba netigwegwe batawucondziseka uma sekukhulume inkosi. Naka ke mfundzi ekhaya ukuthi kunebuciko besakho sangekhathi lobucisha bufanane nesifananiso ngco. Bona ke sibubita ngekuthi sifananiso. Yini ke sifananiso mfundzi? Buciko sonkondlo labusebenzisako acathanise tintfo letimbili. Abekise intfo lenye ngalenye ngekusebenzisa takhi njenga shengathi ngathi kuhlekwe fana na kwasa. Kubeke sonkondlo bekangasebenzisa buciko besifananiso kulenkondlo. Bekangashengetisa athi njengelibhubesi noma ngathi indlula mithi. Asesendlule ke mfundzi sibuke buciko besilwanatiso nabo lokusakhiwo sangekhathi. Yini ke silwanatiso? Leli libito lelisuselwe kulelinye libito silwane. Sonkondlo usuke anika umuntu noma info timphawu tetilwane. Kungaba yini ke lokho? Kungaba tendo noma timphawu taleso silwane. Kule nkondlo lesiyibuka komfundzi libhubesi, inkosi iniketwe sento sekubhodla. Lesentiwa libhubesi. Lokhu kukhomba kubusa nesithundi. Enzimeni yekucala umugca wekucala uthi sonkondlo ubhodla unyakade tintsaba. Lo mugca lo mfundzi wami ukhomba emandla ingwenyama lenawo. Nase ikhulumile kutsinzeka noma ngibani. Lokhu sikubona ngaleli gama tintsaba. Lokusho ukuthi labanye abantu labasemagunyeni noma abaholi bemhlaba nabo bayatsinzeka ngekukhuluma kwayo inkosi. Lesento sekubhodla sikhomba kukhuluma kwengwenyama. Akusiko ukukhuluma nje, kodwa kunemandla nesisindvo lesikhulu. Asendlule mfundzi wami sibuke lobunye buciko besakhiwo sangekhathi lesithi luphawu. Asesibuke nasi isithombe mfundzi wami ekhaya. Sivame kusithola kuphi lesithombe lesi? Sivame kusithola emphahleni yahulumende welive la kaNgwane. Kungabe timphepha noma takhiwo tembuso. Utawutibuta ukuthi siyini lesithombe. Siluphawu lwembuso welive lakangwane. Lokusho ukuthi kukhona lesikumele. Leli bhubesi njengoba sesibonile esihlokweni sethu limelele inkosi. Lendlovu yona imelele indlovukati yelive. Kanzi lelihawu mfunzi lona limelele kuvikela sive semaswati. Bese sekuba nanali idlabe pheceleti crown lesithi nako kuyakhuluma kuluphawu thide kumelele umkhosi welive lakangwane umkhosi wencwala. Siyati ukuthi lidlabe livame kuvunulwa inkosi ngemkhosi wencwala. Lokusho ukuthini ke uma ubuka lesithombe? Kusho ukuthi leli lakangwane nawubona leti thombe uyati ukuthi luphawu lwembuso. Ngekwebunkondlo ke yini ke luphawu? Buciko belulwimi lapho Sonkondlo achaza info lengabonakali ngekusebenzisa info lebonakalako. Asichubeke mfundzi wami sibuke lolunye ihlobo lebuciko belulwimi noma sakhiwo sangekhathi lesithi sihabiso. Lelibito sihabiso lisuselwe sentweni habisa. Yini ke kuhabisa? Kubekisa weqe noma kubekisa ugabudzele. Nangabe ke sesikhuluma ngebunkondlo sithi ke uma Sonkondlo sithi sisebenzise ebuciko besihabiso usuke endani ubekisa eqe agabudzele leni kude kuvakale kahle lowo mcondvo la uvetako. Sihabiso ke enkondlweni sinemsebenzi. Siyagcizelela lowo mcondvo noma siugcamise lowo mcondvo. Asibuke nasi isibonelo sethu mfundzi. Lesi sicaphune enzimeni yesithathu umugca wesibili. Lo mugca uthi ubuka indlulamithi ifinyele. Siyati ukuthi angeke kwendeke indlulamithi ifinyeliswe kubukwa nje. Kepha Sonkondlo uthi iyafinyela. Ukwendeleni ke Sonkondlo lokhu? Kuthi kude kugcame noma kugcizeleleke lo mcondvo ukuthi inkosi inesithundi, inemandla nekuhlonishwa abantu bayo. Bayikhothama batehlise kuyo. Nalabo lebabonakala bangilabakhulu noma batiphatha imandla lokungaba ngileti indlulamithi phela bayihlonipha inkosi yelive. Lokhu kugcanyiswa ngileli gama ifinyele lokubuciko besihabiso Sonkondlo labusebenzisile enkondlweni yakhe. Asichubeke mfundzi sibuke lesinye sinongo nkulumo noma buciko belulwimi lesithi simunfutiso lesiphindze sisibide ngekuthi senta muntu. Lobuciko lobu simunfutiso lelibito lisho ukuthi kulingiswa umuntu info lengasuye umuntu inikwa timphawu temuntu kungaba silwane noma imvelo. Letimphawu ke tingafaka ekhatsi kukhuluma, kuhamba, kulalela, kuhogela, kucabanga nalokunye lokunyenti. Asesibuke nasi isibonelo lesiphume enzimeni yesibili umugca wekuqala. Uthi Sonkondlo unyathela kulilitele tinyoni. Lilililili. Wake wayiva mfundzi wami inyoni ililitela? Cha. Kodwa Sonkondlo unikete inyoni lokusilwane phela timphawu temuntu. Yakhona kuba ngawumsindvo lowentiwa abantu ekulilitela. Leyoku ke sithi simunfutiso. Usisebenziselani ke Sonkondlo simunfutiso? Usuke afuna ukugcizelela umcondvo wekuthi sive phela siyatfokota uma sivakashelwe yinkosi. Njengoba sati ukuthi thina singemaswati siye sililitele uma semicimbini legcwele injabulo. Naka ke mfundzi angeke inkondlo iyinye isinike bonke buciko besakhiwo kungaba sangephandle noma sangekhathi. Sesitawusebenzisa letinye tinkondlo kuveta tibonelo tetitfombe mcondvo. Yini sona lesithombe mcondvo mfundzi wami ekhaya? Leti titfombe letakheka engcondvweni. Uma sonkondlo asebenzise emagama elakhetsekile kusikhanyisela umcondvo otsite. Titfombe mcondvo ke mfundzi wami ekhaya tisebenzisa bukadzabona bakho. Lokudintfo lowendlule kuto noma watibona empilweni. Lesingathi pheceleti yi-experience. Tiyeke titsinze imizwa lesihlanu yakho wena muntfu. Kungabe kubona, kuva, kunambitha, kuhogela noma kunukisa kanye nekutsinza. Tehlukene kasihlanu ngemfundzi wami titfombe mcondvo. Yini ke umsebenzi wetitfombe mcondvo enkondlweni? Tiyakukhanyisela kangcono ngalokho lafuna kukusho sonkondlo. Ukhumbule loke wakuva, wakubona, wakuhogela, wakutsinza noma wakunambitha phambilini. Asesibuke ke mfundzi wami letitfombe mcondvo ngekohlukana kwato. Sitawucala ngesithombe mcondvo lesibonakalako. Wendani ke sonkondlo uma asebenzisa sithombe mcondvo lesibonakalako? Usebenzisa emagama latakwenda ukubone lokhu lakhuluma ngako kuvele kume cababa embi kwakho. Asesibuke nasibonelo sethu mfundzi lesicashunwe enkondlweni lenesihloko lesithi ngibuka tintsaba telibombo letfolakala ekhasini 86. Sitawubuka indzima yekucala umugca wekucala. Uthi ngibuka tintsaba telubombo timile tibheke etulu tilapha ekugcineni kwelive tikhawule emehlwami. Lapha ngenhla siyabona ukuthi sonkondlo uchukulute umcondvo wakho wekubona sakhiwo saletintsaba. So uyadibona nje natiya timile tibheke etulu. Ngemehlo engcondvo uyasakha lesakhiwo saletintsaba bese uyadibona embi kwakho. Singene mfundzi wami sibuke sithombe mcondvo lesilandzelako sithombe mcondvo lesivakalako. Lapha ke sonkondlo usebenzisa emagama lakha umsindvo tsite. Uve lo msindvo ungcencetha etindlebeni takho. Lo msindvo kungaba inkulumo, kuhlabela, sifuta msindvo nalokunye. Lokusho ukuthi kusebenta kakhulu indlebe. Asesibuke nasi sibonelo lesisuselwe enkondlweni libhubesi. Sitawubuka indzima yekucala umugca wekucala. Uthi sonkondlo ubhodla kunyakade tintsaba. Nalapha sonkondlo sowuchukulute ingcondvo ukuthi ikhumbule umsindvo lomkhulu wekubhodla kwelibhubesi. Futhi lo msindvo lo ukhomba emandla nesithunti salo lelibhubesi. Lobunye ebuciko sonkondlo langabusebenzisa sithombe mcondvo lesinambithekako. Lapha sonkondlo wenda njani ke mfundzi? Usebenzisa emagama. Uve ngathi kukhona la kuthi tecaba wakubeka elwimini lwakho ukuve ngelulwimi. Kuthi ngabe kuyanongotela, kuyababa, kuyashisa, kuyabanza, kumunyu noma kudvuma. Asesibuke nasi sibonelo lesuselwe kulenye inkondlo mfundzi lenesihloko lesithi kwembulwa kuyembeswa. Uthi sonkondlo basika bamunya titfupha bakhotha iminwe. Naka lamagama bamunya bakhotha iminwe. Lapha ke sonkondlo wendana usikhanyisela ngelihlobo lwaloku lokudliwako noma lokudliwa ngilabantu. Kumnanzi kwehla ngesiphunvu. Sibona ngale tento tabo bamunya titfupha bakhotha iminwe. Ngeke mfundzi ute ukhothe iminwe noma umunye titfupha kudla kubaba noma kunganambitheki. Asichubeke mfundzi wami sibuke lesinye sithombe mcondvo lesithi sithombe mcondvo lesihogelekako. Lapha ke sonkondlo usebenzisa emagama latawakha sithombe seliphunga engqondweni. Liphunga ke silithola ngemakhala naso sithombe samfunzi. Info inganukelela kube mnanzi emakhaleni. Inganuka kabi, kungabe kusha kwenvo noma kubola, kuvunza njalo njalo. Asesibuke nasi isibonelo sasonkondlo lesisusole enkondlweni imbali yaseTiveni lekhuluma ngelithandvo. Uthi ngayikha imbali ngayibeka kasifuba, ngayibamba ngayicindzetela enhlitweni, yangishaya ngemakha asho kamnanzi. Lapha ke sonkondlo usakhela sithombe sembali lenukelela kahle. Lokungakunika umcondvo lothi sonkondlo uyamthandzele kakhuluma ngaye njengoba uneliphunga phela lelikhangako noma lelitsandzekako. Sibuke ke mfundzi wami isithombe emcondvo sekugcina lesithi isithombe emcondvo lesithindzekako. Lapha sonkondlo usebenzisa emagama latawakha sithombe sendvo longayitsinza ngetandla takho. Asesibuke nasi sibonelo. Nalo lilahle emhlano kubo bonhloko kayivuthwa. Engqondweni ke yakho mfundzi sewuyaliva lelilahle lelivutha be. Selisemhlane womuntu liyamshisa, uyagongonyeka, uyayobayoba. Lapha sonkondlo usebenzisa buciko besithombe lesithindzekako. Ugcamisa lo mcondvo wekuthi bantfu labangeva batawujeziswa noma batobhekana nelwaka lwakhe. Sengephetha ke mfundzi wami asinaka ukuthi akusito tonke tinhlobo tebuciko ebebunkondlo besakhiwo sangekhathi lobusetshenzisiwe la kulesifundvo sethu. Hamba ke mfundzi wami uye encwadzini yakho sabalala msebe. Ufunze kusukela ekhasini 216 kuya ekhasini 226. Utotfola lobunye buciko bebunkondlo langabe usebenzisa sonkondlo. Sengiphetha isifundvo sami salamuhla. Angicizelele nako. Inkondlo site inesakhiwo sangephandle nesangekhathi. Namhla sibuke isakhiwo sangekhathi. Sonkondlo uyasebenzisa lesakhiwo lesangekhathi kwethula umcondvo lofihlakele. Ngekusebenzisa emagama ngalokujulile. Lokhu kwenta phela ukuthi inkondlo yakhe ihlamuse. Sihlatile ke tinongo ngulumo letfaka ekhathi sifananiso ngco, silwanatiso, simunfutiso neliphawu. Sichubekeke sabuka netithombe emcondvo nato letibuciko belulwimi letisebenzisa imizwa lesihlanu yemuntu. Kulungiselela ke mfundzi wami sifundvo sakho lesitako. Hamba ufunze inkondlo yakho lenesihloko lesithi yuniswa lo malunzalunza. Wende nangomsebenzi lolandzelako. Lamagama yuniswa ngabe ameleni. Yini emalunza? Akhombani emalunza nika kubili? Nika buciko besakhiwo sangephandle bebili botfolakala enzimeni yekucala. Khipha buciko besakhiwo sangekhathi lobuthola enzimeni yekucala. Busebenteni lobuciko lobubhalile. Ithini ingcikithi yalenkondlo? Sekela imphendvulo yakho. Hlobo luni lwenkondlo? Bese sowuyasho kuthi usho ngani. Lokuvalelisako ngithishela wakho kugunkambule phepha mfundzi ekhaya utivikele kulo lubhubhane lwamahazana.
Siyabonga kakhulu Gugu, siyathemba ukuthi sidabona futhi etifundweni letelandzelako.
Ngiyabonga nokwazi.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Viewers back at home, because of time, we have run out of time and Lerato and myself won't be able to say goodbye to you together. So I will read to you the timetable for tomorrow right now, which is Tuesday the 26th of May. We have English language for grade 7 from 2 p.m. until 2:30 p.m. Then mathematics for form 3 from 2:30 p.m. until 3:08 p.m. Then literature literature in English 4 from 3 from 3:08 p.m. until 3:45 p.m. Then mathematics 4 from 5 from 3:45 p.m. until 4:25 p.m. And the last subject for the day will be biology from 4:25 p.m. till 5:02 p.m. And just to remind you, we are live on YouTube from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. and on Facebook. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask on our WhatsApp number. Viewers, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely Monday. Good night. Bye.